Hey guys, it's Jenny with Art for Good. And today I am kind of decompressing a little bit from my last art fair, which happened last weekend. I never see people do this, but I thought it would be interesting for me to actually spill all of the tea about what people actually bought at this particular art fair. At the end of this video, I'm gonna do a tally for you of what I actually earned and what I actually spent to make this art fair happen. And if you're new to my channel, you'll know that I just recently in this last year started trying to sell my art. I've been painting for about 6 years, but I've never really tried to sell it before. So I've been actually documenting my journey this whole year so that I could share all my tips and things that I learned with you and a lot of things not to do that I've learned the hard way. First, a quick picture I wanted to show you of my setup. And if you have seen my other videos on how to do an inexpensive art display setup, this actually is a next step up from that, but these panels, these black panels right here are only $60. So stay tuned till the end where I'm gonna show you a little bit more about the actual setup. If you're looking to get into it, but you don't wanna spend thousands of dollars on pro panels, I didn't wanna spend that, then this is a nice alternative for you. All right, time to get to the good stuff and what did people actually buy in this art fair? So to set a little context, this was a 2-day art fair. It was about half day on a Saturday and a full day on Sunday. So I brought a few things. I brought 9 paintings and I'll put links to those, actually what they look like in the description below so you can kind of get a feel for what I actually brought. And they're pretty large. Most of them are about, 24 by 36-ish size. So it's pretty big. I also brought a few smaller pieces that I thought for at a lower price point might be a little bit more appealing to people who didn't have that kind of money to spend. And then I also brought a bargain bin, which is what I call the old stuff from my closet, mostly 16 by 20 size of stuff that I've tried different techniques on. I labeled it as practice originals in my bargain bin, but I really just wanted to get rid of these because I'm sure you know exactly the struggle of having an entire closet filled with paintings and you're not really sure what to do with. So, all right, so the first day I had a lot of interest in my work. I had people talking about how I had lots of different styles there. I had a lot of people walking through. Most people were asking questions about pieces that had been resined over the acrylic paint that I do. So if you haven't tried resining your paintings, I have a whole video here. I have very much a love-hate relationship with resin. It's been well documented and it's documented in this video that I'll put a link to right here. But it's very finicky. It takes a lot of time, but people really liked that effect. I got the most sort of oohs and ahs over pieces that I had resined. So ultimately though, nobody bought a resined piece at the end of the day when all was said and done, which was very interesting to me. So it was the end of the first day and I had no sales. I was talking to my neighbors. They were also like very frustrated. They hadn't gotten any sales. And so I really started to get discouraged and really started to even wonder if I was gonna recoup any money that I'd spent on this booth fee. So at the end of day 1, I actually had someone stop in and buy 4 of my practice originals. So I was happy to let those go to a new home where someone could actually appreciate them. And I also was happy to actually have some money coming in at the end of a very long day. All right, so it's day 2 now and I am, I was a little discouraged the night prior, but I decided to really ramp it up. And I brought a few new things to try to kind of cycle some things through. All right, right away, I had interest from this couple in one of my pieces, this piece right here. And actually they had talked about how his grandmother had painted rough seas and that was kind of her thing. She was an artist. And I said, well, that's very ironic because that's actually what I named this art piece. And he was looking for something for his office. And so those types of that personal connection there to his background and what he needed for his space actually worked in my favor because he purchased the painting. I was so happy to actually have sold something. Right around the same time as I was wrapping that up for them to pick up later, I actually had another couple who was interested in another one of my pieces. She was talking about how she really liked abstract art and that, she likes art that you have to, use your brain to try to understand, or, different people could see it in different ways. And so we really connected on that and had a great conversation, and then they ended up buying that and some of my practice originals as well. As again, very happy. So I had a bit of a lull. The rest of the afternoon, I was really sitting in my booth and coloring with colored pencils, which I never do. Sort of wondering if I was gonna get any more sales or if that was really all for the whole time. Next, I had somebody pop into my booth. Actually, it was the owner of a cafe that I happened to be stationed right outside of, and I had been displaying my art outward towards this cafe, and this was the owner, and he had popped in and said, "Hey, my wife has been admiring your art all day long, and I really want to come buy this flower piece, and it has to be a surprise, so I'm going to come back a little bit later." Shortly thereafter, I had his wife pop in and talk about how she loved my art, and I gave her a business card. It was a great conversation. And then later he did come back and purchase the art. So that was 3 large originals that I had sold and several of these small practice pieces. So I had also brought prints, and I sold 0 prints. I brought different size prints, and I sold 0. I don't know why. Nobody was buying prints. All right, down to the earnings. What were the numbers? What is the bottom line? So I brought in a total of $700, and I spent on this booth rental $250. Luckily, I had all of the booth materials and everything already purchased long ago for another show, so I really didn't have much investment there, and I'm going forward. That's the good thing once you make the purchase of these types of items. Definitely not enough to retire on, but I was just happy that I was able to share some of my art with people where it really resonated with them. It's gonna go to great new homes where people can enjoy them every day, and I won't have to really hold all of this stuff in my guest room closet. So I'm gonna leave you with this video here, and this is a tutorial of how you can get these same panels off of Amazon, as well as all the other pieces that you need for this setup. I think it really gives a kind of a champagne impression when you have a beer budget, and it's a great tool for beginners. So I'll leave you with this video here to keep watching, and that's all the time I have for today. If you have any other questions about my art show, please feel free to put those in the comments below. I really love hearing from you guys, and better yet, if you've been to an art fair recently to sell your work, what worked well for you? Please put those things in the comments as well so that we can continue to learn from each other. I'll see you next time.